why does the world not know this about us, about the Hindu civilization? There have, of course, been waves of colonial subjugation, and with it, the gross distortion of our itihas. Who is behind the wiping out and distortion of our truth? And how did they really achieve this colossal deception?
So my AI has also given me a new way to think about the other people.
Mhm,
So they are rival AI systems. They are rival machine learning systems. So
mhm,
they are constantly trying to improve their learning algorithms, just like Bharatiya civilization has been evolving for itself, for its benefit. So any other civilization that comes and invades us or attacks us, they are doing this. They are doing from. They don't start with a substratum of Vedas as the foundation of their learning. They start with the foundation of some other text or some book or some whatever ideology. So
mhm,
with that as their starting point, they're also trying to learn, they're trying to expand, they're trying to capture, they're trying to go here and there and pick up new resources.
mhm,
So the problem is that they look at us as raw material which they can capture. They can capture land, they can capture knowledge, they can capture the history and distort it to fit their agenda.
mhm,
So we are the big data that they are using to train themselves. Our resources, so the invasion, expansion, conquest of all our assets, including intellectual assets, is like a predator just wanting to devour and do it for the benefit of becoming stronger for themselves. So,
mhm,
when you think about it from their point of view, one thing you have to credit them is that they're very innovative. So they've taken Indian mathematics, they've taken a lot of Indian medicine, they've taken a huge amount of Indian metallurgy and textiles. Even now they're taking Sanskrit, and they've developed phenomenal advances in computational linguistics. And
mhm,
from computational linguistics, natural language processing, they're still taking a huge amount of big data from India. The
mhm,
Googles and the Facebooks and the Twitters of the world, India is one of the richest places. We are fools thinking that, oh, we got lots of WhatsApp users, or we got one of the largest numbers of Google users or something. But actually, we're supplying them free data. I mean, the point is that, so they are smart, and the process of colonization hasn't ended. Now it's digital colonization, it's AI based colonization, you see. So it's we who are fools letting this happen. Something, we could blame them, and I've done enough of that for my career. But I think we could also turn around and look at ourselves and say, why are we so vulnerable? Why don't we have our act together? It's still the case that a Google can come and buy a huge amount of equity. Google and Facebook buy equity from Reliance, Geo, and everybody goes up and down, jumping, celebrating. When this happened last summer, I was the only voice which was critical of this investment in Geo. Everybody, including all the Hindu activists, celebrating it as a symbol that we are so good that they want to buy us out. Okay, so we didn't understand. It's like if somebody came and bought off the some of the top academies training Bharatnatyam. Christians have bought off many Bharatnatyam academies in India. I don't know if you know that, but many of the Indian Hindu dance academies have been purchased, taken over by Christians, and they're Christianizing this dance. So you cannot blame them, because for them it's an investment. It's like you do mergers and acquisitions in the corporate world to expand. So they've done this acquisition in order to expand their footprint. So it's our people who are very happy that, hey, those guys like us and they gave us all this money or whatever and they bought us off. We are happy being bought off. That's a tragedy. So it happened in the past. They had to come and compromise Indian people, Indian leaders, make some zamindars, get inside the heads of these rajas and make them fight. And so, the ability of other nations, other countries, other civilizations to capture us, colonize us, shows their sophistication in their machine learning. How, if you think of their civilization as a machine learning system, they're very sophisticated in that, and being able to figure out and hack into our civilization and figure out how to compromise it and turn it into a huge asset that they can harvest.
mhm,
So this is what my model of colonization is. That
mhm,
colonization is a system where competing civilizations, each wanting to evolve, learn, using improve its algorithms. They're encountering each other, and then the winners are the ones that are able to do this better and turn the other one into data that you can suck in.
Mhm.
And the loser is the one who thinks that they are winning, but they're too stupid to realize that actually they're becoming slaves.
Mhm.
So we have not recovered from that. We can keep blaming Macaulay for this, and all kind of people who did this and that. Max Miller did these things, and then Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi is doing these things, and Pope is doing them, and we can blame that. And I'm one of the pioneers, by the way, more than a quarter century ago, who started these. This thing about let's turn the gaze against these people and keep them, and it served a purpose because it awakened a lot of our people who were not awake at that time. It took me more than 10, 15 years of this kind of work, very unpopular talking and shaking people up, to get enough people shaken up. And I'm glad I did that. But I think that we now have to move on beyond this. We cannot just be stuck on, looking back and accusing and blaming other people, because it's happened. What has happened. Why is it still happening today is my question. Today we have a Hindu rule. We are autonomous. Why is it right now we are selling the Kumbh Mela big data? Yogi Adityanath invited, after I advised him not to do so, invited all the Harvards and all these foreign organizations to come and study the Kumbh Mela as if we need them to study us, not realizing that they're studying it for their own reason. That's digital colonization. They're sucking all this big data about diverse people, 100 million people of various communities, of various languages, different DNA, different genetics. All of this they're capturing from the Kumbh Mela as the largest opportunity to gather big data on human beings, largest in the world, in one place, so much diversity. And they're doing it, and we are letting them do it. And after I advised them and wrote about it, not to let them do it, I mentioned all this in my book. I went to Yogi Adityanath, gave them PowerPoint presentations, gave them my reports. They, in fact, instead of listening to me, they just invited them to come even more. So this is not somebody else's fault. You cannot say that some other people are doing this. It's our own people, because they're not very smart. Either they're not smart, but then they need good advisors. They need good babus who know all of this stuff. The babus are not smart, or they're compromised. Maybe the Harvards of the world and the foreign entities that wanted this have done all the schmoozing, wining, dining, and taking them to foreign places and making them happy and giving them a nice song and dance that will come and improve your public health. So, the problems, the patterns of colonization, which I have been exposing all my life, exist today in the new form of this AI-based colonization, and our governments and all our people are involved in this. They are listening to the strategies for AI are developed by Google and Facebook, and they're developed by McKinsey, and they're developed by Price Waterhouse. And these are the people that are serving the corporate elite in the world. And they're not really out there serving the Aam Aadmi of India. So I would say that I would challenge the Hindu activists who are only focusing on the colonization and the problems brought by outsiders. I would say that you also have to focus on our own people today who are continuing these problems. And the other message I have is, I'm now talking about Breaking India 2.0. Breaking India 2.0 means that the Breaking India forces that I exposed, 15, 20 years ago, and a decade ago, I wrote a book on it. Those forces have become very digital savvy. I mean, they know how to break India using AI, using social media, using more kinds of detailed intelligence to come into a community, convert them, shift their ideology, make them fight each other. So the Breaking India 2.0 is where the fight is now. So I would say that the pattern of thinking about colonization, decolonization, that I started long time back, and now a lot of people are into it, I would say that that's obsolete. And now we should talk about the current latest level of threat that India faces, and the need for Indian leaders to get re-educated.
Right. Thank you, Rajiv ji. I mean, you did make a very crucial point, and I think that is something that a lot of us should really focus on in terms of moving forward, which is of self-reflecting on ourselves and on our own community.
Namaste. We hope you enjoyed this Chitti Media content. Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.